Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, I'm John McAllister, and welcome to the John McAllister Report. Today, we're going to go into the coaching field and Coach's Corner and talk about and talk with a good friend of mine, Doug Geiser, the head football coach at Ashland University. First year last year. 1-3, 0-2, 1-3 early. Came back and won 8 in a row. Finished really, really strong. Doug Geiser begins his second year at Ashland. Great staff. And I've known him for a long time, and he has a really good outlook on coaching, a good philosophy. He's worked with one of the best ones, Lee Owens at Ashland, and Doug continues to do his own thing, but be successful. So if you'll sit back, and I also talked to him about different philosophies and things, but a lot about Ashland University. So if you'll sit back and listen to my video podcast with Doug Geiser, the head football coach at Ashland University. Like I said earlier, my guest is head football coach at Ashland University, Doug Geiser. And Doug, coach, and I go way back many years, good years. And how are you doing, Doug Geiser?
You know what, John? I'm doing very, very well. And just kind of switching gears at this point, going from signing day and now into self-evaluation, get ready for spring practice. It's going to come up pretty quick.
When does spring practice start for you guys?
Thursday, March 14th.
Yeah.
So we got two more weeks of training, test week, and then spring break, and then we're into it.
Okay. First thing, tell me what a Division II school is.
Division II is, classification-wise, I'll give you a Cliff Notes version.
Okay.
Let's talk football. FBS, 85 scholarships. You're either on a full ride or not.
Okay.
If you are FCS, the 1AA formerly, you're 63 scholarships. You'll go full on some people, but you can also break them up and stack your money.
Right.
In Division II, we're still a scholarship school, but now we're down to 36, the equivalent of 36 scholarships.
Okay.
We can offer full rides athletically, but we don't because depth-wise, you just can't afford to spend a 1.0 on a player.
Yeah.
So we'll stack athletic money, academic money, any state or federal money, institutional money, and that becomes their package per se. And then obviously Division III, there is no athletic money.
Right. Okay, tell me the second part of that, and I think people would like to know this stuff early. That's why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. How has the NIL affected you?
I think it's twofold, John. I think it's NIL and transfer portal. I think you put them together. Okay. Right. And really the first piece of it, I think, as you look at it, is the transfer portal. And what's happened, as you know, since that's become a big thing, less and less high school players are getting opportunities to play at the FBS or FCS level. So what that's done, that's allowed a higher level of player in some cases being available to us. And so, obviously you'll put them on scholarship and all those things. But from there now, they might be looking not to just go to Ashland for 4 years.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go there, get on tape for 2 and then bounce, earn some NIL money, and go to a higher level, which I think I am anyway, which, is a little problematic for me because at our level, it's about more than football.
Right.
And, we're looking to, build a culture, and that's kind of been our secret through the years. And so it's a little scary in that respect.
Right. I'm concerned with that. Now, my next question, or not a question, tell me that pro scouts, NFL scouts go through your campus all the time.
That is absolutely true. When I was the assistant or the associate head coach, I was the pro liaison.
Okay.
And so, for example, in 2022, we had a linebacker very well regarded from Walnut Ridge, Michael Ayers.
Yeah.
And we had upwards of 28 of the NFL teams came through to see him at various points during the year.
Right.
And a handful of those schools were multiple times.
Right.
And so Adam Shaheen, same thing. So our name is very well known. And so we're always, every single year, we're going to get scouts from Blesto and National, the two scouting services for the pros, are going to come through our place to see who we recommend for the next year. Right. This year, we got a receiver this year from Bell Fountain by the name of Desmond Libertus, who's on the radar with a number of teams. And so, they even this year, he's not quite the same level, no disrespect, as Michael Ayers, but still very regarded. And so we must have had at least 15 to 18 teams come through to see him during the year.
Right.
So you're going to get noticed at Ashland.
That's huge. Now tell me one more thing. Mm-hmm. I'm stroking Ashland University.
Feel free.
Tell me where the head football coach at Green Bay Packers spent a year or two.
The Matt LaFleur was the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, and receiver coach at Ashland University in 2007.
That's not that long ago.
Not that long ago. Well, I'm going to add to your advertisement here.
Sure.
Within the past week, they're Ashland Eagles as secondary coaches in the NFL. Justin Hood, who was a two-time captain for us back in the early 2000s,
right,
just went from Green Bay, was hired by Raheem Morris with Atlanta as the secondary coach, overall secondary coach, and then Steve Klinkscale, who was co-DC at Michigan, just got hired by Harbaugh out of San Diego.
And Klink and I know I was going to bring him up next, by the way.
Yep.
Good man.
Good people.
Off the record, I'll tell you, he got cheated someplace. Off the record.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Coach, that's Division II. Please, if you're watching this, take it serious, because I have a high respect of Division II football, and you know that.
Yeah.
University, I go over there because it's so close once a year just to watch their game. Yep. And Division II football, the atmosphere is so good.
Yeah.
It's a great atmosphere. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Coach, I got to read these notes I wrote down. Here's why one of the reasons I respect you. Okay. You started your career as a junior high defensive coordinator, right?
Freshman.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was freshman. I read. You started your career as a ninth grade defensive coordinator, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now you're the head coach at Ashland University.
Yep.
Okay. I met you at Akron, but let's go. You you were at Akron as a video coordinator.
Coordinator / tight ends coach. Yes.
One of your job, Coach, I looked this stuff up now. And then you spent 19 years as an assistant coach at Ashland.
Yep.
And you were 16 of those, you were the associate head coach.
Yep.
Okay. No matter how much you prepare, how much you read in books, tell me, a head coach, you can't read books to be a head coach.
You know what? That's a cliche. Everybody tells you that. I knew that before I took over. And I'm going to share with you my come to Jesus moment. Okay. The moment when I realized that the buck actually stops here. Last year after signing date, very similar time to where we are right now.
Right.
We're in a staff meeting and we're talking over some kind of preparation for spring ball. Okay. And somebody makes a comment. Well, hey, Coach, what do you think about this? I make a suggestion. And in my mind, I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. You know what? I'll probably talk about that with Coach Owens, and then he'll make a decision. But then I'm like, wait a minute. There is no Coach Owens. I'm that guy now. That's a pretty good idea. We're going to do that. So that was kind of the ultimate. Okay, yeah, the buck actually does stop with me now.
Okay. One more thing. I don't know if I have this right. How did you feel when you were 0-3?
Well, we were 0-2 and then 1-3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 0-2, and then 1-3.
1-3.
Okay. How did you feel about being a head coach then?
You know what? There's actually a piece and a column about it, believe it or not.
Really?
And yeah, I'm going to share two stories here. Happened. This has been we're 0-2. Okay, now the 0-2, you know, you lost to two nationally ranked teams, and you're ahead of both teams in the fourth quarter. We just didn't know how to finish, and they did, and credit to them. And so I'm sitting in my office talking with Don Graham. He's the head of our Gridiron Club. He's the president. He's also the radio voice of the Eagles. Okay, from Willard. You probably know Don. Yeah. And at the end of taping our segment for the next pregame for Saturday, he looks over and says, hey, just know this, Doug. We fully support the Gridiron Club. Fully supports you, and we're going to be with you no matter what. And I'm just kind of looking like, okay. And then literally the same week, I'm meeting with another member of our support staff, and it was actually our team chaplain. Okay, we're meeting on Friday, and at the end of it, he's like, hey, just know this, everybody's behind you no matter what. And I'm like, am I naive or something? Okay, I mean, I know we're 0-2, but I believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So there was a piece in column about, I was like, okay, I know we stubbed our toe early, but we got a pretty good football team, and we just got to stick together. We got to keep, as Nick Saban would say, trust in the process, and we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And so now I never anticipated, finishing with 8 straight wins.
Yeah, I wanted to add that, by the way. Now you're 1-3, and then you won an 8-game winning streak, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's got to help you a little bit.
It was tremendous. It was tremendous, and after it was during that time, especially after the 0-2, I met with our captains, and I really reiterated to them, and I said, okay, here's the deal. I said, what I know is this: if we don't stick together and pull together, it's going to be ugly. Yeah. I said, our only chance is if we stick together. Yeah. Okay, trusting each other, keep working, don't splinter. Yeah. And I had some tremendous leaders. And as you know, the culture was built here. The foundation was built here. Yeah. And I'm extremely lucky and blessed to jump in this situation following somebody like Lee Owens. I mean, as you know, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. And, so I just got to not screw it up.
You're being nice to yourself. You're being kind. Okay, let's talk about recruiting. Let's talk about this season. And I don't really want to dwell on it that much because I want to know you. And what's coming up with the season then? Coming up, how are you? I know you still have spring ball, but what are you looking for? You were talking about offense this morning before I have you on here. What are you looking for this season? What's out there?
Well, our schedule is almost exactly the same.
Okay.
So we're and it opens up with a meat grinder. It does. I mean, last year it was the first 5. This year we're going to open with IUP and Ferris in the first 2 weeks again.
Ferris,
okay?
tough,
But hey, it's tough, it's challenging, but games like that are reasons that guys come to Ashland to play in games like that.
Right, for sure.
We then, we play a trophy game against Hillsdale, and so that's week 3. And then you're going to play 3 of the toughest teams in the league back to back, Tiffin, ODU, and Findlay.
Oh, wow.
So your first 6, we've got to be firing on all cylinders. We can't start like last year. I mean, the bottom line is we want to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can't have 3 losses. And so any of the 3 games we lost last year probably puts us in the playoffs if that's a win.
Right.
So the guys, what's kind of nice is the awareness now with the new leaders on the team of, okay, it adds a little more clarity, a sense of urgency to your offseason preparation, because you know what? We can't waste an opportunity. We can't lose our focus at the end of the IUP game and give up a 50-yard touchdown to lose a game. You can't do that stuff. So we're preaching that sense of urgency and kind of the relevance of why we're doing the things we're doing in preparation right now.
That's really good. It's really good, Coach. Let's talk recruiting now. Mm-hmm. You just signed a really good class, and every coach says they signed a good class, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
We have that stuff for 30 years, but you signed a good class, though, I think, because I went through and I'm not trying to be funny, but I know some of those kids.
Yeah,
married me out of St. Ignatius. I really liked him as a junior.
Yeah,
and I didn't see him play last year, but I think he may have even gotten hurt or something. But I thought he had a lot. In fact, a lot of potential. And then there's the kid, kind of a sleeper. I don't know where he's going to play for. He's out of Columbus, but you got him as a defensive back. I think he's from Central Crossing.
Oh, Malik Kamara from Central Crossing. Yeah.
Malik Kamara.
Yeah.
Got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And he could probably, he's a defensive guy. He probably play running back, I think. I mean, I think that's, but anyway, really. And so I don't want you don't have to mention guys but those are some guys. If you start mentioning guys, then somebody say, hey, why didn't he talk about me? But, but I want to talk about those two guys. And I think you got a local guy there from Shelby, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think he's, I can't be truly, I mean, I can only say so much. I think once he figures it out, he's going to be a good player.
He's, and we
once
always
he figures it out, he'll be a good player.
Yeah, and I'm, and us, it's always been this way, even before I was here. If there are local kids we think can help us win, we're going to try to keep them close to home. So Isaiah Ramsey from Shelby was a priority. He was a priority, not to mention the fact he's a heck of a football player.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. In a lot of respects, he hasn't been tested yet.
Yeah.
He was just better than everybody we played against.
Yeah.
And, he's got a tremendous coach too in Robbie Mahaney. Now I'm biased because Robbie used to be a student assistant with me. Okay. But I'm with you. I think the sky's the limit for Isaiah. And even as good a player is, he's even a better person. Which is tremendous. A testament to his family structure at home. Malik Kamara, you were talking about Central Crossing. We're looking at him as a safety.
Yeah.
And in a lot of respects, he reminds me of a guy we signed last year that played for us as a freshman, E.J. Tia from Hilliard Bradley. Very, very, very similar.
I remember him.
Yeah, very similar body type and skill set. Yeah. And you mentioned John Merrimee. Absolutely. I think in most years without the portal, John Merrimee's in the MAC.
Uh-huh.
I think. And, we're fortunate. I think we're projecting him as a tight end. And then also we got on another tight end from Lakota East, Derek Jackson.
Yeah,
and they're almost mirror images. Yeah. They're both 6'5 plus. They're 220 pounds right now. They can run, catch. They're going to be 240, 250. So, the coaches did a tremendous job of hustling, especially like with the Malik Kamara. He was committed to Navy.
Yeah.
And when he, decided he didn't want to go to Navy, somebody's got to be there. Jim Cordell, who recruits Columbus for us, did a heck of a job building a relationship with him before he committed to Navy. Yeah. And so when he became available, he sought us out. And bing, bang, boom, all of a sudden he's an Ashland Eagle, and we're better for it.
And get them on campus.
Bingo.
And get them to your indoor facility.
Yep. Get
them to your outdoor facility. And I can't speak as highly on Coach Stacy, but Jim Cordell, I had to say something. He's
absolutely.
He takes
if you didn't, I was going to.
He takes the Cleveland Indians way too serious. I'm sorry, the Guardians. And Jim Cordell, I still call him Jimmy, but he's a good coach. What a good coach. And but you have a good staff. Yeah. Some of the guys I know. Okay. We're talking about different. Oh, my last question on recruiting. I think what's really neat, I think it's really good. You get kids from Division 1, you get kids from Division 2, 3, all the way down to 7, I think. I've seen some kids, it's on that list I looked at, but they're good players. Yeah. And then you develop them. Please tell me you develop them. And I don't think we do enough of that. But,
I think that's very, very key. And a lot of times now in recruiting, especially at higher levels, it's CYA recruiting, John. Meaning this: if a guy doesn't meet the cookie cutter as far as what you're looking for, size or strength wise or speed wise, boom, he's off the list.
I know.
It doesn't matter if he can play. That's like the fourth consideration. But you know what? That should be the first consideration.
Yeah.
Okay. If they don't make plays when they're in high school, why is that going to change when they get to you? No matter how much development you get, So for example, you look at a guy like the tailback we signed from Jonathan Alder, Cameron Jewell.
Yeah.
Extremely talented. Yeah. And what you got to do, you got to believe what you see on tape. Yeah. You got to believe what you see on tape. And And so that's the biggest part, though. And just like, I think my time in the MAC as an assistant coach prepped me well for this, because in the MAC you got to develop. At least back when we were in the MAC at Akron at that point, it's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. You need a certain size, strength, speed, potential. Okay, but you got to consider. Okay, how does he learn? How important is it to him? Is he a team player? Is he somebody with a work ethic that's going to, have grit and fight through and not just, turn tail at the earliest sign of adversity? All those things you got to look at as you're in recruiting, in addition to the ability, because that's going to give you some idea. Can they develop? Are they willing to develop? Yeah. So that's all different things we got to consider as we're in this whole process.
And I think it's a whole different era than when I started this business. Mm-hmm. But I don't think coaches do a lot of coaches of listening to the player, a recruit, and seeing what's inside the recruit. Yes. And you can tell that. Yeah. You can not only by a little bit by how they play, but you can tell by talking to them.
Yeah. And a part of it, I know we've seen each other at games many times through the years, countless times, more than we can, And really the biggest thing when I'm going to games to watch a kid, early in the process, I'm seeing, does he have the ability?
Yeah.
But midway and at the end, even like going to basketball or wrestling, I'm not looking at the ability.
Yeah.
I'm looking at everything else. Yeah. How do they react to being coached? Are they a good teammate? How do they react to adversity? If the ball's away from them, are they chasing it down with a passion and enthusiasm unknown to mankind? Just all those little things there that tell me a little bit more about the kid. Because if we're going to invest upwards of 6 figures in a kid, scholarship-wise, I want to be right. I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm going to take as much information in as possible. And the biggest portion of that is you might be the most talented guy in the world. If you don't have those intangibles, that character part, it's not going to work. You're going to be disappointed.
I think even big schools are finding that out more and more. And I think the trouble with big schools is they're going after those 5-star guys. And you can at wide receiver go but I think lineman is a totally different thing. You got to be able to see those guys.
Yeah.
And understand them. Okay. Yeah. Good job, Coach. Okay. I have a couple now, just your personal opinions. We're away from football now. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, what gets you most excited about coaching at Ashland University? Coaching football. What gets you most excited?
2 things.
Go 1 and 1A. I don't care. But
2 things. The first thing is this: it's a place where you can do things the right way.
Okay.
You don't have to sell your soul. You can do things the right way. I mean, as I'll tell recruits and parents this: we teach morals, ethics, and values. Yeah. There is a right, there is a wrong. There are consequences for bad decisions. Okay. We're gonna challenge you. We're gonna coach you hard. Okay, because we need to get you out of your comfort level so you develop. So that'd be the first one, is you can do things the right way here. Yeah. The other thing is this: we got tremendous young men and staff members here at Ashland, and they motivate me. Seeing how they're getting up at 6 a.m. on a Thursday morning for speed and strength development, and seeing the passion and enthusiasm they have, and the undaunting desire to be great, that motivates me as a coach, and it challenges me to be better, and it challenges me to make sure I'm prepared, and I am already, I'm ready to take them to the next level because I prepared for it, not just reacting and kind of being there, throwing the ball out and being the proverbial gym teacher. So I'd say it's those 2 things. You can do things the right way, and the tremendous people here just motivate me to even go to a higher level.
Okay, you just kind of answered my second, so I'll go to 3. What do you believe? I got to slow down. We're at 22 minutes, and I try not to go over 20. Anyway, a couple more questions. What do you believe is the biggest challenge to your football players today, athletes? What's the biggest challenge, Coach? There are a lot.
One thing that comes to mind right away is kind of family structure in a lot of respects. Here's what I mean. Even a small time ago when I was growing up, it was the norm to have a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's not.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a number of years.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of respects, just a kind of an awareness on coaching part that a lot of times you're the male authority figure for the young men in your program, and understanding that role, that obligation, that responsibility.
Yeah.
And in a lot of respects, getting to know your players, your recruits, and having some understanding of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes young men don't know how to react to a stronger male authority figure. That's real. It's sad. It's sad in society, but you know what? That's the hand we're dealt right now.
Right.
Let's make the best out of it. And you can still, because my job is a teacher ultimately.
Right.
My vessel's football. I'm the head football coach, yes, but my job is a teacher to help bring these young men and mature them to become great members of society. And so it takes, every guy's story is a little different. Everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
But just being in tune with that,
right,
and give them what they need to develop. That's really, really, really important. It's an all-encompassing thing now. It is. It's a big obligation, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
Sounds really good. Well, maybe I'll get you for part 2 because I still had a bunch of questions. But anyway, Coach, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate knowing you. And I remember this nice thing. We go to we'd see each other at games, talk a little bit. We may still be talking, but we're both looking out on the field, watching. And I remember you doing that. I saw that at Walsh, I think. It was so much fun because we were both kind of talking, but we didn't look at each other. We just kept watching the big offensive lineman, I think.
John Connor, yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it a lot, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, John. I appreciate being on. And anytime you want me to come on, I'm more than happy to.
Okay.